What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark, MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and the Screen Actors Guild Awards happened. I don't know if you noticed. I'm gonna react to them post SAG. I chose, yeah, I didn't watch it, but I will, maybe. I don't know. Uh, so I saw who won, and we're gonna talk about it. But first, click like and subscribe because I'm a blind film critic. I talk a lot about audio description and accessibility. There've been a lot of attacks on DEI. DEI initiatives, often, especially with private companies, are the same initiatives that help to provide things like audio description and other forms of accessibility for people like me. When you start attacking and removing those minded people, those people whose jobs it is to find ways to be inclusive, it makes it hard for me to continue to move the medium of audio description forward, which is what I'm here for, is to talk about how we consume film and television. And I do things like this so that you understand that I have like cohesive thought on film, that I got a degree and I've been thinking about this, and just blindness befell me, and I didn't stop talking about the thing that I love, and I didn't lose my knowledge of it. So here are my thoughts on the SAG winners. So if I, just to tell you, because I didn't do a prediction video because there weren't that many categories, and I haven't really tackled TV, although am I surprised at the amount of wins for Shogun? No. I'm a little disappointed because Kristen Milioti is fucking kick-ass in The Penguin, and I need her to win some awards. Luckily, Anna Sawai won't be eligible at the Emmys next year, so the Emmys have to pick up all of the weight that has been left behind by everybody picking. So far, Kristen hasn't won anything because, and she's fantastic. I mean, she's so good in The Penguin. But no, those awards didn't really surprise me at all. I mean, Martin Short winning for actor over maybe his competition a little bit, because it wasn't really his season. It was Steve Martin's season. The season leaned into him. It was, I mean, he was the one who was emotionally wrecked by Zaz. So it actually gave him the benefit a little bit more, whereas Martin Short, I think, benefited a little bit more from the previous season. So it's a weird season for him to win of the two. But, you know, thank God it just wasn't like another Jeremy Allen White win. I mean, I don't hate the guy, but Jesus, man, like, there are other shows. So, yeah, so those are my thoughts on the TV nominations. My film, I would have told you that I was predicting ensemble Wicked, actor Chalamet, actress Demi, supporting actor Karen, supporting actress Ariana, and stunt ensemble Fall Guy. And I'm not lying, because I just told you I got some of those wrong. So why would I do that? And part of that was going through the race and seeing who'd been sweeping and figuring out where I thought they were the most vulnerable, where I thought they had the greatest chance of losing. I've said in some of my other prediction videos, I thought Kieran was going to be the one who absolutely swept the whole season, and I've never really predicted anybody else but Kieran. I think the only conversation that we're having is are people going to feel like it's time for Edward Norton because he's on his 4th nomination? I don't think so. And here's an example of the complete unknown. The love for complete unknown is they nominated, the nominating committee, which, by the way, of Screen Actors Guild is only like 2,500 people. The voting body is like over 140,000 who actually vote on the winners. So just because 2,500 people loved Complete Unknown doesn't mean 140,000 people will. So that's the same thing about Screen Actors Guild. Even though it's used as a precursor, there aren't 140,000 actors voting for the Oscars. So there are a lot. It is the largest branch within the Academy. So it's a strong tool to use moving forward. But I don't think that it's the be all end all of although it does frequently line up, but it that doesn't mean it always will. It doesn't mean every single win will. And I think I know which one won't this year, but we'll see. So, Stunt Ensemble went to The Fall Guy because, of course, it did. It's about stuntmen. It's a movie about stuntmen that had great stunts in it. Thank God they gave it to The Fall Guy. Like, I was like, man, if they don't give this to The Fall Guy, I don't know what's happening here. But, um, yeah, it feels like that it was always going to win that, like, it had to win stunts. Supporting actress. So Zoe has swept everything, and I was thinking, what's funny is a lot of people who are like me who do predictions, we think Ariana is second, but we actually don't have any basis for that at this point because she hasn't won any substantial prizes. You can look back at like I guess a couple critics groups or something like that and find that like an Ariana Grande win. But of the major awards that we typically use, because people don't look at and be like, well, LA Film Critics gave. So the correlation between supporting actress and LA Film Critics is undeniable. I mean, I don't know what she won. I don't know if Ariana won. Maybe that was Zoe. Maybe it was somebody else. I have no idea. But I was just using them as an example. Ariana hasn't won any of the major televised awards. So I don't know that she is second. So the question now is, much like Kieran, Zoe or not at the Oscars. And I think still Emilio Perez is in a place where we don't know how popular it is anymore with people. It's been attacked. Its lead actress seems to actively not be helping anything, even if Netflix isn't taking her around to Q&As. She's not moving the needle. So does it affect Zoe? There's two schools of thought there. One of them is Zoe's been in the industry long enough that everybody knows who she is, and she's built up a lot of goodwill for herself, and this is a career win for her. Even though she seems young, she's been around forever. Without looking at her IMDb credits, I remember her back as far as Center Stage. I'm sure she did stuff before that, but that was like 2000, 2001. So she's easily been acting steadily in noticeable lead roles for like 25 years. She has huge franchises behind her: Avatar, Guardians of the Galaxy. So she's worked with some of the top directors like Steven Spielberg and The Terminal. I think Zoe has earned a lot of this time in the sun, and it's probably going to be her. If not, it's literally any of them. I think the argument went out the window. It looked like they also loved Wicked a little bit more. It overclocked because of Jonathan Bailey. And I actually, because I had Wicked in Ensemble, I thought Ariana might have a shot at supporting actress more so than her competition. I didn't think two of them aren't nominated at the Oscars, so I didn't think Danielle and Jamie were suddenly going to get like a groundswell of support that was going to carry them to the win to make it so that this category was pointless to use as a predictor moving forward. Also, nobody saw these speeches, so the Oscars have already voted, so the speeches here didn't matter. This is just sort of like what are the actors thinking broadly, and they still went with Zoe. So I think Zoe's more primed for an upset than Kieran is, just because of the nature of her film. The thing about Kieran and supporting actor, to move on to him, why I think he's locked, is A Real Pain was a well-liked movie. And if you see sort of the representation of BAFTA when it got supporting actor and screenplay, it is a well-liked movie. It's just people didn't really know where to put it. Jesse kind of got pushed out of the actor race. Yeah, I think it was close to the top 10. Absolutely. I believe A Real Pain was like 11th or 12th in terms of getting into the picture race. So it becomes like the Real Pain vote. Like if you because screenplay, it's unlikely Jesse's going to win at the at the Oscars. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll both win. Um, but I think Kieran, yeah, he's the vote for his film, and even though he's not in a Best Picture nominee, he almost was. So, uh, I think, yeah, I don't see anybody beating him. I think he's the lock of the season, and I don't feel like budging from that. He's won everything, also, just like Zoe, the two of them. Now, the people who haven't won everything, actress Demi Moore, she did lose the BAFTA to Mikey Madison. I also kind of thought she would lose either BAFTA or SAG to Mikey Madison. I thought she was going to lose one of the awards. I was like, this can't be her whole season. It's not the kind of performance that sweeps. It's the kind of performance that along the way somebody beats it. Somebody is too grossed out, or they believe the nomination was enough for Demi. Something. It's not artistic enough. I don't know. Pick something. Do I think the Oscars are still going to go for Demi? I think she's vulnerable because, again, we don't know how Oscar voters took to the substance as an actual, like, I'm voting for this as a film. She has, like, the most memorable scene, probably of the year, in the Should I Go Out for a Date sequence. Could Mikey Madison still win? Absolutely. And I would entertain the idea of Fernanda Torres. I talked about this in my What is an Actual Upset? And I said Fernanda Torres does have a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Drama. It's weird because she didn't get a SAG nomination or a BAFTA win, or BAFTA nomination. So if she did win, it's a very odd package for her to have as a winner. It's not unheard of. She's not coming out of nowhere. But Cynthia would be an out of nowhere win at this point because she hasn't won anything, and Carla would just be batshit crazy. So, not a chance in hell. They have a better chance that Pamela Anderson gained a write-in campaign for lead actress. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think Mikey still has a chance. I want to predict Demi because I think her narrative, she's had a lot of great speeches, and I think every time she goes up on stage, it's been very gracious, very like tearful, very like I've been working here forever and I thought you all hated me. You know? This is my first time ever being lauded for anything. So, yeah, Mikey's still young. She's got a film. I don't know. Depends on Nora. If it's winning, how much is it winning? Like, it's not nominated for that many awards. So is it sweeping everything? That's the question. Anyway, I want to lean towards Demi though because I'm not picking it for picture at the Oscars. So I'm gonna go with Demi and say Mikey again. This is the cut. Actor is the interesting quandary because Timothée Chalamet won for actor here, which is exactly what I predicted. I didn't think Adrian would sweep the whole season, and I have been predicting Chalamet here. Actors did not really respond to the movie quite as well. Adrian was the only nomination for The Brutalist. They did not nominate Guy or Felicity. It's not nominated in ensemble. So he was the whole nomination for the film, and they still didn't pick him. Like, if you loved The Brutalist, you had only one place to vote for it, and you still didn't pick him. They still picked Timothée Chalamet. So with that knowledge, whereas with The Real Pain, if you love Real Pain, they still voted for Kieran. That was the place where they had to vote for Kieran. So, and same thing with The Substance. Like, you got all of the love for that movie. So like every movie got like one award, you know, like at the end of the day. So this is where they threw their love for Complete Unknown was behind Timothée Chalamet. And the question has always been, is Adrian Brody getting a second Academy Award? And I think crazier things will happen, but do I think Timothy Chalamet on his second nomination could win? Yes. I also still believe Ray Fiennes could win for Conclave, even though I would call that might be the actual shock, would be Ray Fiennes. He's never won, and he's in Conclave, which is what I'm predicting to win for Best Picture. I was just on a panel last night talking about the Oscars for the American Council of the Blind, and I said, I think Conclave is winning picture. I think it's timely. I was looking at when the Oscar people were voting. I think Conclave is favored. It's a movie that people like. And with the situation of where the Pope is, I cannot imagine that this film doesn't land at the right time with people. I thought Conclave was close before, but I've really come to, after the BAFTA win, after the SAG Ensemble win, Conclave is the biggest threat to Anora. And I think it's proving that. So I could see Ray winning at the Oscars. Part of me wants to predict that as a big shock. But I don't know. Maybe it's Chalamet. This was an opportunity for Ray to win too, to win an award. But they ended up giving Ensemble. So maybe people who are voting instead, because Conclave wasn't necessarily predicted by many people to win Ensemble. Some people had it, but it is up against like Wicked and Anora, so it wasn't like a huge and complete unknown. Actually, I heard some people predicting complete unknown. So, it wasn't like the solid frontrunner for that. It's kind of a surprise. I don't know. I don't know how many people said, I'm not voting for Ray Fiennes here because I'm voting for Conclave, for Ensemble. So my gut instinct tells me Adrian's not winning. My gut instinct tells me Adrian is not winning the Oscar the second time through for The Brutalist. I feel something about that. I feel like he's won before, and Hollywood and the career and the kind of opportunities and the roles that he's been offered since then, aside from Wes Anderson loving the hell out of Adrian Brody, if you take Wes Anderson's movies out of his career, it's kind of lackluster. I mean, it's very much a comeback movie for him, but if people don't love him as much in the industry, is that going to translate into them wanting to vote for him for a second time? Versus Chalamet, who is in 2 Best Picture nominees. So maybe it is to me. Maybe this is time. If not, I think it's raised, but I'm going to say I'm not predicting Adrian Brody. If I'm going to have to predict Zoe because she swept everything, and I think she might be able to withstand the downwards drag of... I would have been willing to go with Zoe as being the surprise snub had Ariana won. She didn't. No one did. It's still Zoe. So if I have to go anywhere, I will say I'm going to go with SAG and say Timothy Chalamet wins the Academy Award this year for A Complete Unknown. And I'll say that I'm going with the SAG for. Boring, but true. And then Conclave for Picture. I was feeling Conclave for Picture after the BAFTA, though. I would have felt Conclave for Picture had it not won Ensemble, because I was thinking Wicked was going to win Ensemble, and I was thinking that basically in different places we had all these different winners and all these different ceremonies, and it shows how broad the year is. We started off the year with Golden Globe winners, for Brutalist and Emilia Perez, which translated into a Critics' Choice win for Anora. I guess the picture equivalent for Producers Guild and Directors Guild went to Anora. And then BAFTA chose Conclave. So I was thinking, well, Wicked is the one that seems it hasn't won anything yet. Maybe it'll win this. Well, no, Conclave won something else. So I feel more validated in saying I think Conclave is going to upset Anora. However, I do think Sean Baker is going to still win Director, because, so if you're worried about that, I still have him for director. Edward Berker's not nominated. But no, also because I think there's a little bit of a, I think Brady Corbet is losing points because he's an actor turned director, whereas Sean Baker is a director who's built up a resume of things over the course of years, and he has a body of work that directors I think are ready to recognize. So I think Sean Baker will win for director, and it's going to look like at the last minute, and then something back to Conclave, which doesn't even have a director nomination. A little bit like Argo. Argo won Best Picture without having a director nomination or an acting win, by the way. So I don't think it didn't have an acting win. No, I think I'm right in saying that. Yeah. So, I mean, it just jumped straight down to like, I think screenplay was its next highest win. So I think this is Argo. I think we got an Argo coming. Anyway, that's it. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys. I'll make a final predictions video between now and the Oscars, but I'll see you guys then. Until then, I'll see you on the other side.